Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by a fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
All right, in this video, I'm going to take you back in time and share with you how I started my career. What were the jobs that I worked for? What was the salary that I earned? And how did I transition? I'll just give you a few bits here and there. So if you feel this is useful for you, or you feel it'll be inspirational, motivational, whatever, or it'll give you some hints of strategy, feel free. And if you have any questions related to this, feel free to comment down below. Okay. In case you're new to my channel, my name is Loy Machedo. I'm a personal branding strategist who helps people get well-paying jobs in Dubai, UAE, especially the Middle East, Saudi, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, and also people book my sessions for one-to-one coaching consulting, whether it is personal or professional problems, or if they want to migrate to Canada, Australia, US, or Europe, and they want information which people hush don't talk about. Why? Because I have contacts, connections over there. Anyway, details are put down below. So now with regards to me, I was always talkative. I was always hyper. I always had ADHD, although that time this term was not invented or we didn't know and there was no internet. So I was always hyper. I always loved people. I always loved being around people, talking and non-stop. So people recognized that I had a ball of energy. And there were many managers and many senior people who knew my parents that the day he wants to work, let him join us. And the position which they all wanted me to join was sales. And these are not products which were very, technical or in the sense that it required a lot of specialization, just selling. Like, for example, this guy was in an insurance company. He wanted me to join. Another guy was in a trading company selling for customers. So these were the people who had their businesses or they were working as managers. And they would always tell my mom and my stepdad, when he grows up, just send him to us, we'll groom him. So during my summer vacation holidays, my first tryout was insurance, selling, I think, it's so silly, $30 insurance, $30, very cheap for 1 year, where if you die, you get certain amount of money. And it was actually, now when I look at it, it was a scam, but they wanted to get the $30. And I would work right from morning till evening, knocking on doors, meeting people on the roads. It was just a very simple form. Just had to fill it up, pay the $30, I take it to the office. So nothing technical there. And obviously, when they would have their meetings once a week, oh, Loy is amazing, Loy is smart. I would start morning all the way to evening, hyper energy. But I clearly remember I got burnt out. Burnt out after 3 weeks of going in the sun, right from almost like 7 till 10 or 11 in the night. It was crazy, man. And I quickly realized once you finish the people that you know and then you go cold calling, that's where the door gets slammed on your face and rejections start. But, I also tried jobs which were in the church. That I'm, Roman Catholic. We used to have once a year the Christmas kind of bazaar where we would sell lottery tickets, bingo, and all that. And each one was hardly $1. So I would sell the highest because I was so hyper. I would say, Auntie, how are you? So nice to see you. Oh, you're so beautiful. Uncle, please, I will die. I'll get a heart attack. So fooling around and doing that, I would get the highest sales. Okay, so that was the kiddie kind of sales. I did have also people who knew me in the church. That was my mentor at the time, who once again employed me when I was 30. He gave me a job as a receptionist when I was actually asking people for jobs. He gave me a job as a receptionist, just pick up the calls and answer and do some typing, do some fax, advertise the company. Quick Electric. I joined as a receptionist. My salary was $800, I think, 800 or something, dirhams. 800 is hardly, I think, $150, $200 or something. Okay. The first serious job that I did take was, and I worked there for 1 month, 1.5 months. So nothing serious. The first serious job was when I had problems with my family and I decided to run away from home in UAE. You can't run away anywhere much, but I left Sharjah and I went to Abu Dhabi. And through contacts connections, I managed to get a job in that time. If you are in UAE for many years, you would know this. There was a cinema called El Dorado Cinema. It's a landmark. It's no longer there. If you have been in UAE since the 80s or earlier than that, you would know El Dorado Cinema. Bang opposite to El Dorado Cinema, exactly across the street, was this big building, which is like massive. It's like it has commercial, residential, and whatever. So the commercial side, they converted to a hotel. And they called it that time Abu Dhabi Plaza Residence. I don't know if I have that card. So through a contact, I found out the general manager, who was a Pakistani, well educated in UK. I think his name was Imran, whatever. Very classy guy. 6 feet plus, very classy guy. White, very pale white, but amazing in communication. He was a GM. I think he was in his 50s. His girlfriend was ultra hot. He used to drive a Range Rover. So he gave me the job position. He just looked at my CV. There was hardly anything, just dummy CV. He said, okay, the only opening I have for you is bellboy. Bellboys outside the hotel, you have to stand and take people's luggage and bring them in the hotel, or a waiter where you have to, serve people. And this was a hotel which was not open 24 hours. Nighttime, everything would close, all the restaurants, everything. And because daytime was very rush, he didn't want me to be there during the daytime. So he kept me during the dead man shift, night, 8 o'clock till maybe 8 in the morning, 12 hours of standing outside. But people would still come. And I would always carry the luggage and put it there. Only problem was there was no food. So, they offered accommodation where people would be sleeping on bunk beds. Food, I would, because I didn't have any money, food, I'd go to the kitchen and, after they'd finish a banquet or they would finish a party, the water that they would leave in half drank bottles or just open, I would take that. And the food that they leave in the plates, somewhere sausages or chicken pieces, which are clean and all that, I would just take it in the silver foil, put it in my pockets. The security guy who always checks the hotel people as they go knew that I was taking food. Even though he knew that I was technically stealing the food, he didn't say anything. Okay. And so my first salary was around $150, $200. But I was always think, is this my life? Is this what I'm going to be? And especially it would really kill me because, I was 16 at that time. And if you'd see a girl who is 16 or 18 and she would look at you and you feel like shit. And I was a good looking guy, really good looking, I had long hair, no tattoos that time, slim. So I did that for a couple of months and then peace prevailed in the house. My mother said, come, we will put you for some studies or something. I had a fight with them for my girlfriend that time. I'll not give you her name. See, it was stupid those days also. So finally, they agreed to put me for one college that was Skyline. I couldn't study 1 month, 2 months. It was crap. All the colleges in UAE are crap, to be honest with you. Then I was put St. Aloysius in Mangalore. That was India. There also I didn't study. I was busy girls and gym, and I can make a separate video on that. And I was busy doing anchoring and DJing of shows. And forget the rupees I was getting. I was just doing it for fun because I could DJ and anchor and talk in shows. I love talking, I told you. So then when I came back to UAE, I didn't have a degree. I dropped out. I just had a high school, whatever, the paper. And I thought it would be easy to become an RJ. I thought it would be easy to be a anchor for shows. I thought event management would be easy. You're talking of I'm 46, so nearly 26 years ago. And I was trying literally jobs left, right, and center. Nothing was happening. Finally, after nearly 2 years of struggling, trying odd jobs here and there, small things like whatever, standing, distributing flyers, standing in supermarkets, they pay you per hour. I finally got a job in a shop called uh, Dina Al Safa, Arabic name. But the guy who was working there was a person. He was a senior purser, big guy, big guy. His name is, I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name, but anyway, uh, Mr. W. Let's call him Mr. W. He's a very big guy, very strong, very like broad-shouldered, handsome-looking guy. And he used to travel in Emirates. He was a purser in Emirates Airlines, so he used to get all these. He used to go to Hong Kong. He used to go to Thailand, all these places, and get DVD players, TVs, videos secondhand, and he used to sell it here because normally they work 3 days on and 3 days off. So the 3 days off, he would have his shop. So he wanted a guy who could run his shop, and lo and behold, he took me. And my first official contract and salary was 1,200 dirhams. That is roughly 400 US dollars, something like that, 300, 400 US dollars. 1,200 dirhams, you can calculate. And he was kind enough to find out a place to sleep. I think that took almost 800 bucks of mine. 600 or 800 out of the 1,200. Half went there. The other 300, 400 bucks went into, there was a Malbari hotel, cheap. I used to love the parota and chicken. Then another 150 used to go for the gym. And I was left with a little bit here and there, just hardly $20, $30 as pocket money. But thanks to the fact that I still had my, I knew people because I'm born and raised there. He used to DJ and he used to take me with him after working hours to help him set up speakers. And that's where I learned amateur DJing. It was not professional mixing, just parties. And he would give me actually, I was very enterprising, I guess. He would actually give me, like I would get 1,200 dirhams per month from running that shop. But I would get 500 bucks just to help him, or 300 bucks just to help him do all these shows. So I was earning 1,200 plus 300 plus 400, 500. So I always understood the power of earning more money at the side, not just doing the formal one. So my first official job title was shopkeeper, as you can say. But he never treated me like one because he had only his clients. He had a Rolodex of all numbers of rich people and his friends. So all these rich guys used to come there. And his wife, I'll call her Debbie, she really took a liking on me as like a mother figure, and she and her sisters. And later on, lo and behold, after I think 15, 20 years, we bumped into, thanks to Facebook. We've been in touch ever since. So yeah, I think if I could share, just one common thread, I have made many mistakes in that. And like even that job, I resigned in a very bad way because I wanted to work with one Arab local who was doing events company, which was a very bad idea. Then I went into Citibank. That also, I bumped into the regional head of Citibank, and I didn't know that. And I impressed him so much with my talk. He actually, without me going through the interview process, I was offered a job. And that is where I realized that for me, my personality, I would never apply the normal route. I would always seek out the CEO or the owner of the company, talk to them directly, and they would always employ me. That has been my DNA right from childhood. I always seek out the CEO or the director or the decision maker, impress them. Maybe they saw talent because I was talkative or smart or whatever. That's how I even bumped into B.R. Shetty. Every position that I was offered was without going through the interview process of putting the CV, going for the interview. I was just offered a job. And that's something that I continued to take advantage of throughout my life. But one thing I'll tell you, there's a common pattern here. One is I always took a risk. I was never happy with one job, always took a risk and tried something. And Like I told you, when I married this girl at the age of 21, that was after the Citibank fiasco, that job as a salesman. I went to Dublin, Ireland, and there, once again, started from scratch. I was actually sweeping the streets. And there it's called domestic engineer. They don't look down upon you. But as I was sweeping the streets and the sand, and I asked, is this what my life is going to be? And you know that it's called domestic engineer in a theater, cinema hall, where we had to even clean the toilets. But thankfully, those toilets are very clean, super clean. Like they're not like if you say toilets, you think of sewage and all that. No, they were super, super clean. And we just had to ensure that everything was perfumed and proper tissue, and there's nothing like sewage and dirty and all that. Somebody's come. Okay. Anyway, that's something else. So I've done that from being a domestic engineer, toilets, washing dishes, being a waiter, going to parties where you just had to distribute food and all that, and get abused by these so-called rich folks. Uh, I've done all that. Standing outside the hotel, picking up luggage. You do whatever it takes to survive, like they say, you know. So I did all that. I even thought of being a chef. I thought of being a bus driver. But the common thread that I saw throughout all these experiences was, number one, I always took a risk. Number two is I was unafraid to fail. Number three is I always was good at talking, always was busy marketing and selling myself. Number four was I was always an opportunist. Number five, even though the term was not invented, I was always seeking mentors, always seeking someone to guide me. That is why these decision makers like me so much. I was very humble with them. And yes, the one habit which I would give myself a lot of credit, I read a lot of books, self-improvement and all that. And I think it kind of gave me the psyche that I could achieve greatness. I believed in myself, even though nobody else did. And there was never a dull moment in my life, man. Always trying side jobs, DJing, MCing, networking, marketing, creative stuff, making your own business card, having a colorful resume, even though that time there was no template. I used to make colorful with my photograph like this and color and all that. And remember, these are pre-internet days. Nobody was there to guide all this. And never stopping to try something. It's always like, always searching for something to make me happy. But like this, you can only take risks until a certain phase of your life. And as you grow older, as you grow older, your risks become bigger until you reach a point where you can't take any more risks. One massive drawback I did face was overconfidence, belief that I could achieve anything and everything, belief that I would never fail, and even if I fail, I could bounce back. That in turn cost me. You might have seen that suicide video. That in turn cost me that costly mistake. You don't have ego clashes with people with power, with money. You don't do that. You don't think, you don't have that overconfidence where you think, no one can touch me. That's where I got jacked. So overall, these were my ups and downs. But what I want to share with you is I'm just like you. I went through all the problems, challenges, hardships. In fact, today you have internet, you have WhatsApp, you have Facebook groups, you have YouTube videos, you have so much of knowledge. There's no internet, no YouTube, no WhatsApp, no chatting, nobody to guide me. I just believed, I don't know, it was not like I say, I believe myself. I was just shameless enough to keep trying, asking, looking for opportunities, never giving up, being restless. And that's how my first salary was, I told you, like $150 a month, working the whole day in the sun. So from $150 to $100, and then being restless, always trying something at the side. And I think the side hustle, with the experiences of the corporate world, whatever, at some point I decided I'm going to try on my own. So it is a history of trial and error, of making mistakes, of discovering myself, and finally reaching to where I am. And whatever knowledge, whatever advice I give people is from the school of hard knocks. It's nothing from theory, nothing from books. Even these podcasts and whatever I listen to, they don't teach me as much as the real experiences of life. Because when you really go in the real world and really fail and cry, there have been moments where I really cried alone. No money to even eat food, man. I'll share maybe a video of that later. And, oh, sorry, I don't know who this is. So there have been moments like that. So let me just see who is this call. Let me think. I think it's a delivery. 1 second. Hello? Hello? Yes? Said bye bye. It was one of the spam callers. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to tell you. If I could leave you with one message through this video, it would be, I think, find your groove, find out who you are, find out what you want. And that's a process that's going to take you years and years. There is no shortcut. You can literally, have the best opportunities in front of you, but if you're not ready, it's no use. But if I could say one thing out of the whole thing is, try today. You're lucky that there is internet, all this YouTube and all. Get yourself a mentor. It's not because I'm into the mentoring business. Get yourself a mentor. Get yourself someone who can guide you. And that mentor can be the CEO of the company, owner of the company, even your manager, someone who you aspire to be, and let them guide you. And respect them as God. Father and mother, they love you, they will take care of you. But maybe they can't help you with their career, unless, of course, they have a great career themselves. And the journey will be filled with lots of ups and downs. Don't evaluate your value with what you're earning right now or your situation right now. It changes for everyone. I've known people who earn less than $50 a month, and today they are multimillionaires. So, but that doesn't mean every single person is going to achieve this. There are tremendous amount of failures, and it's the choices and decisions that you make that will either make you or break you. Anyway, I wanted to give you a heart-to-heart talk with this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You agree, disagree, and feel free to ask me any questions if you do have. All right. You guys take care. This is me signing off.